Just wanted to call in and talk about something, I guess, that happened here in my community yesterday, something that was very inspiring, and I think there's been some coverage on the news of it. And it's a gentleman named Gus Poole from St. Louis in Labrador, who's just finished his annual Walk for Liz. And just to give some background of it, Mr. Poole's wife passed away just about 10 years ago, I guess, from complications of diabetes. Very young woman, only 57 years old. And since that time, every year he's been doing a trek to raise awareness and raise dollars. He's walked pretty much all across Labrador. And this year he walked from Cowhead to Port aux Basques, and he just got here last night. And it's absolutely amazing. The gentleman's turning 71 years old.
Wow.
This December. And so far, he's raised, I think, just shy of $50,000 for diabetes, for the Canadian Diabetes Association. And he got here yesterday. I was lucky enough to meet him here and go for a little walk with him. I could barely keep up with him. The man sets a pretty amazing pace.
What'd you say his name was again? Sorry, Andrew?
His name is Gus Poole.
Gus Poole.
From St. Louis and Labrador. And I know he's fairly close with Lisa Dempster. I remember from Cartwright Land Sinclair. And he had a gentleman, Bob, who's his road manager, with him, and it was just amazing. It was nice to be able to be there and listen to him and talk about his walk, and the fact that he single-handedly is doing so much for something that really is having a pretty significant negative impact on our province, and that's diabetes. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I wanted to talk a bit more about because, I've had the opportunity as health critic to meet with the advocacy groups and meet with physicians and meet with individuals who are living with diabetes. And when we hear the stats that we have the highest rate in Canada and some of the highest rates in basically in North America and really the Western world, it's something that we have to recognize and start doing more to treat this. And that's why one of the things that I think we will be moving forward with, and again, there's this talk all the time about policy. Well, one of the things that we have announced and talked about in the House of Assembly on a number of occasions is a diabetes reduction strategy.
Yep.
And this is one of the things, like, we've had, a number of talks. We actually had a health forum 2 summers ago where we sat down with, people from all walks of the medical field, whether it's advocates, nurses, doctors, you name any kind of health professional. And this is one of the things that's really taking a toll when it comes to dollars in our healthcare system. When we just think about the impact that it has, whether it's the people that are going into the hospital, the complications, the other, afflictions that diabetes is helping to cause, and diabetes leading to people having heart attacks and being, airlifted to St. John's. I've actually had a friend who had to go through that. And this is one of the things that we will be focusing on. And I think one of the key areas that we can start is just when it comes to the wellness and starting at the youngest age, just working on, a youth wellness strategy to be a part of that. So that's something that I want to put out there where we're looking forward to hearing from people, telling us their stories. When you hear of young people who, from a young age are learning to count their carbs and living, thank God we have a pump. And, I've always been a proponent of giving credit where credit is due, and no doubt this government has made significant positive steps when they announced the coverage of pumps up to the age of 25. I mean, we have to give credit where credit is due, and that's one part of it. But we need to take that extra step and make it, we have a lot of people in this province who are reaching that age and are scared to death when they turn 25 because they won't have coverage for this pump that they've grown accustomed to and really is a part of their life.
Yeah, the ongoing provision of whether it be pumps or other medical devices is important, and obviously so. I think you make the key point when it comes to the preventative medicine. I mean, it's not just diabetes. It's the prevalence of heart disease and stroke. It's all sorts of issues where we absolutely, in some respect, can directly blame ourselves for our lifestyle habits, whether it be our diet or how much anyone drinks or smokes or anything like that. And I'm not pure as a driven snow, and everybody knows it. But the preventative medicine, that's where we come up short, I think, far too often.
Definitely. And, I mean, you only have to talk to some doctors, and they'll tell you we're very good at sick care. But the problem is we're not doing enough in the preventative, in the health and wellness. The wellness section of the Department of Health we need to be doing more with that. And, again, I've asked a number of questions in the House on diabetes, and a lot of times the government will come back and talk about all the money they've spent on dialysis. And that's well and good. Again, I've done a lot of fundraising for dialysis in this area. But you talk to doctors and they'll tell you dialysis is basically an admission of failure. We need to work on avoiding having to get the dialysis. Not saying dialysis is bad, but that's at the point where you've already reached the point of no return. We need to do more when it comes to healthy eating. And again, you're exactly right. We have a lot of, I guess, negative habits in this province when it comes to our eating, when it comes to our rates of smoking. And again, something we called for, and I was glad to see the government listen. I've been asking for smoking cessation programs in this province. The money that you will save, I mean, you only have to look at other provinces that have covered it in the past to see that the investment is going to have a huge rate of return. That's why we asked for it in the House. That's why we called for it. And then last year's budget, we saw it there. So, again, this is one of the things that we can do as an opposition, is to raise these issues and raise these points. And then when you get a response, then you have to acknowledge that the response was there.
Yeah, the strategies are, we have announced all sorts of good intentions about creating strategies, whether it be on population growth or facets of the healthcare business, which is unfortunately we refer to it as a business. I should rethink that. And those things are important, but the strategies have to be closely monitored and monitored for their effectiveness and their inclusion. And does that mean that we now have pumps available beyond 25? All those things I think are important, Andrew. Before I let you go, we want to reiterate the bravo, congratulations, recognize the efforts of Gus Poole and all he's done for raising awareness and raising money. Bravo, Guy, you're a good fellow.
Yeah, I mean, Guy's on his way back to Labrador today, and it's just an amazing story to see what he's done and to see the man in person again. I got to repeat, the man's turning 71 this December.
Yeah.
And to walk just about 400 kilometers in this trek, and all in the memory of his wife and the money he's raising for people now. Again, he's not affected by it now, but he's making sure that other people hopefully not have to suffer the loss that he has. So bravo to Guy, and I hope he's, wherever he is right now on the highway, he's doing well, and he's certainly earned a rest.
Yeah, absolutely, and safe travels to Guy. Appreciate your time this morning, Andrew.
Thanks, Patty. Have a great weekend.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.